for March 18th, 2019. Please stand for a pledge of allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'm going to ask Chuck about
Roll call, please.
Councilman Scringy?
Present.
Councilman Livingston?
Present.
Councilwoman Cross?
Present.
Councilman Taylor?
Present.
President Scanlon?
Present.
That's 5 here, 2 absent, Hap Stratton Moxo.
Okay, we'll start with Carol Quinlivan, RL 19-56.
Okay, good evening. This is regarding the free swim at Recreation Park. We've done it in the past. This year we increased from 1 event to 3.
Wow.
And I'd like, and it was a success. So I would like to offer free swim on the July 3rd date and the August 7th date, just for those 2-hour periods. So they'd pay all day, but then beginning at 6 o'clock, anybody that came to the event would then pay, or not pay to get in. And then on August 21st, we're doing a daytime session. And I actually would like to request the entire day free.
Okay.
Okay.
Carol.
Proceed. Go ahead.
Just at Rec Park.
Go ahead, Carol.
Oh, thanks, Mom. What kind of advertising do we do for these?
For the dip and dance?
Yeah.
We put it on our city website, and then we have a Facebook page. We put it there. And then Dip and Dance does a lot on their own
Oh, okay.
to increase enrollment.
Do we put flyers up around the pools as well?
Oh, yeah.
Great.
I'm sure you see
I
great
have
attendance,
last year's
right?
flyers. Pardon?
See a great attendance, right?
I think it'll grow every year. This is what it looks like. And Dip and Dance actually puts this together for me. So, last year we had probably about 50, 60 people. So now they're looking for it. And I think if we do one, the second one's gonna be bigger and the third one will be bigger.
Good. Councilman Livingston?
Could you share the digital copy of the flyer with me? I'll share it on our next door neighborhood.
Yeah, I can.
Thanks.
I can pass out this one if you want. I brought enough.
Yeah, I mean,
You can see it. This is last year's. So
Sure.
it's- I don't have this year's yet because he does that.
well, whenever you get it,
It'll
you know,
take
when
a
you
while.
put it, yeah, no rush.
Sure.
Any other questions? All right, Carol, on the RL 19-57, please.
I just think that this is an oversight. On the lifeguard rate for the rec park pool manager, it should read $12.60 per hour. And instead, it reads $12.35, which is the same amount as the assistant pool manager.
Is that going to change any of our budget figures?
No,
It doesn't change
It
the
doesn't
total,
change
it just
the
changes
numbers.
the hourly rate, right?
Uh-huh.
yeah, it's just the one position under that line.
So it was calculated correctly? It was just
I
listed
believe
as
so.
well.
Mhm.
Sorry, when we did it, I think we did basically
it was
260, we just didn't put it in right.
Other
So
questions?
Should
that
we
lower
verify it?
lower amount wasn't used to calculate the total labor for.
No, the numbers are correct everywhere else, it's just that title.
Okay.
Other
So that,
questions?
instead of saying $12.35, as it does in the adopted budget, it should say $12.60.
Okay, great. Other questions? All right, thank you, Carol.
Okay,
Thank you, Carol.
Thanks, Carol. Thank you.
have a good night, everybody.
You too.
You too.
Chuck, RL 19-58, please.
The first one here is to amend a 2018 engineering budget. These are the last of the 18 transfers, just so everyone knows that.
This is it?
This is it.
Sure.
I'm closing the books on Article 12. We
Okay.
can't make them anymore.
Good, good. All right.
Okay.
Yeah.
The first one here, just want to make sure I get these right. Last year, if you remember, we did a archaeological study over at 7 Holly Street, which came to $150,486 when it was all said and done. We originally put this through on a bond, okay? Which means this is going to be allocated over a 30-year period of life of the project. This really isn't a 30-year life doing archaeological.
Just
okay.
about this.
The sales tax came in higher than we anticipated, by like $700 and some $1,000. I think it's right for the taxpayers of Binghamton to take this and expense it last year. Instead of rolling this money into fund balance, is what would happen. It's expensing something that these guys won't be paying for the next 25 or 30 years.
Okay.
So that's what I'm requesting on this RL to do.
Okay?
Mr. President.
Yes, go ahead.
Chuck, so we have a line in the 218 budget that will cover that expense in its entirety?
What I will do is I will since we're under budget on the sales tax, I will increase the sales tax number, the revenue number, in
Right.
the budget, and then I will increase a line called general infrastructure improvement and pay this bill out of that.
Okay.
Okay.
Is what we would do here.
Chuck, the other $550,000 in increased sales tax revenue, is that just going into the fund balance right now? Because we
Yes.
haven't put that in any line or anything.
No, it's gonna roll back to fund
Okay.
balance.
And you don't foresee us spending it anywhere else?
Not at this point. I was trying to figure out what's a good use of this money, not to roll it back to fund balance, and this was the only number that I really came up with. I mean, there's some peanut stuff, but I didn't want to come down here for moving a couple thousand here or there.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
Plus, we're closing the books anyway soon, so it
They're
couldn't
closed.
be used for anything
Yeah, not
afterward anyway.
soon.
No,
Now.
we're closing
No.
Saturday, boom.
So soon.
Yeah.
Well, yes,
Yeah.
we're closing, we're going to what they call period 13.
Right,
I
yeah.
can make no more PO changes, I can't make any more
Right.
budget changes.
Yeah.
No, you're late.
Oh,
How are you?
Any other questions? Okay, Chuck, on our RL 19-61, please.
Over the weekend, I was going through and looking at all the financial numbers, and I realized that we made a payment on January, I think it was 18th, that really included 3 days of December's that had not been booked back. I booked it back, and these are the numbers that we need to transfer to get everything to zero. There's a series of different things that
Questions?
One sec.
Yep.
Mr. President.
Yes. Councilman Freeman.
Thank you. Chuck, can you touch on why workman's comp is 1,200 extra? Or why it was needed?
trying to look at which one you're looking at.
CL 9040.58000, D as in dog.
We must have been short money in that account, okay? And when we put money over into the refuse account for the wages,
Right.
we also gotta incorporate the FICA costs
Sure.
associated with it.
Okay.
And the workers' comp.
So it's not a particular incident, it's just
No.
rounding off things like
Yes, they-
hours and OT and just making sure, okay, thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Chuck, would you consider any of these out of the ordinary?
No, no. Well, I guess what I'm out of the ordinary is my department should have caught this before me doing it this weekend.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
I see.
They're all aware of that now.
Okay, good.
I'm sure they are.
Other questions? Thanks, Chuck.
Hey, before I leave, I'd like to bring up a couple things quickly, not that it's on here. This morning, we had a ratings call with Moody's. Okay, that's where we sit down and go through all the financials of the city for the last year. The mayor and I sat with him for about an hour. And this, not to really go into the details of all that, but just to make you aware, is that in April, we'll be doing a ban. It's roughly $43 million for what we all approved in the bond ordinance earlier this year and prior years. That it's gonna happen in April. If you guys approve the refunding that we did, that you guys are gonna vote on Wednesday. That'll close in May. And in June, we've been borrowing money for the joint sewage treatment plant. And in my conversation with New York State EFC, we believe it's the right time to go out and take some of the notes that we have, that these are the short-term borrowing, and make them long-term. That's gonna be $58 million that we're gonna do in June, okay? We're hoping that the percent on this is gonna be somewhere between 1 and 1.5% for 30 years. That was the decision, to do it now than wait another year, not knowing what's gonna happen with interest rates. When we did 38 million back in 2016, we got it for, I think it was like 0.99% for 30 years, so.
Which is unheard of now.
Right, and even a percent to a percent and a half, still a great number for 30 years.
Right.
So, we're gonna do that in June. And that was part of the Moody's call and all that stuff.
Sure.
I just want to bring you up to speed in case you hear something.
Councilman Scraggy?
Thank you, Mr. President. Chuck, is the whole point of that, moving that into a long-term borrowing, I'll just say, is the point of that due to a lower interest rate that we might get by doing that?
Yes.
Okay.
I mean, we could do this, we have until 2021 to do this, okay? And we still have other money in a note. that we
Sure,
haven't spent
yeah.
yet. But at this point in time, it's a
So we're saving money by going to,
long-term, yes.
yeah, because I know there's some uncertainty about the variability of these interest rates going forward for the next
They've
couple of
basically
years.
gone up at 1%, I think, in the last year.
Year, yeah.
Other questions on this?
Thank you.
I have a question for Chuck that's a little off topic, if I could ask it.
Sure.
Councilman Livingston and I were quickly talking about this before the meeting. Do you know if the city of Binghamton is going to be affected by the worldwide issues of recycling? And if we are not now, will we be? And are we now?
We have been,
Okay.
For a while,
okay?
yeah.
Yes.
That was the reason why the company actually made the changes of, they actually shortened the list of things that they would take.
To give you an idea, Connor, it's cheaper to put those recycling things in the garbage.
Right, I understand.
We're paying $50 a ton
Yeah,
for Fort Adams to pick up the recycling,
yeah.
okay, and process it. We pay $45 a ton and send it to the landfill.
Mhm.
So,
But you still want to recycle whatever you can.
I don't know how much of it's really getting recycled besides glass. And with glass, one of the main problems is
So
the glass.
you're saying that we're paying the extra to get Bird Adams to pick up recycling, and it's not even being recycled, possibly?
I think it's being recycled, but it's not being recycled the way you think it is. Because it's what they call a single stream now.
Yeah.
So you're mixing everything. When the glass gets caught into the cardboard, it becomes much less value. Glass gets tied into the plastics, it becomes less valuable. So what happens to it after it leaves Bird Adams and goes to these other facilities to be recycled? I don't know. I don't think anybody knows except for maybe sending it over to China.
Is there anything that we could do on our end, on the, home, on like the consumer end or on the city's end to improve the quality of our recycling so that we wouldn't be going into a single stream? Like, could we do something where we were sorting it better? Is there anything we could do to
Nobody does
improve the
anything but
situation?
the single stream.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
the
Thing is,
standard now.
you're giving it to somebody else, so whatever you do on this end.
Right.
The two choices we really have around here is Taylor and Bird Adams. They both do single stream. So
I'm sure everybody does single stream.
That's an industry standard now.
because-
It is.
But yeah, the problem is people correlate recycling to reusability, and the problem is that those two things aren't the same thing.
Right.
They're not. It's sad, it is.
I think New York State needs to do some things differently. I think one is, recycle glass across the board. And take it at stores and not part of the other, just like you do a 5-cent bottle deposit.
Mhm.
I think they need to start looking at that at other types of glass. That's a big problem.
It is.
Other questions?
Thanks, Chuck.
Thanks, Chuck.
Thank you.
Have a nice night.
You too.
Jess, please.
So RL 1959 are the fireworks displays for the Binghamton Rumble Ponies for the 2019 baseball season. It was approved by Fire Marshal, Ken, Clerk's Office, paid for the
Right.
permit.
We saw the dates, and that was about 15 days, I believe, right?
Yep, and
Yeah.
they're not school nights.
Didn't we do this?
We didn't do an RL yet, we just ran the dates
Ah.
by you folks, just in case we had to ask them to change their dates.
Gotcha.
So you guys were fine with that, so we let them know. They paid and they're set to go, so.
Good. Questions?
Nope.
Just out of curiosity, is there a prior agreement? Why does city council have to do this? How is it different than a regular event permit through the city clerk's office?
All fireworks go
Yeah.
through
Yeah.
city council.
It's all prior.
Legal?
No, all outdoor
Yeah.
fireworks go through.
They have to come through this body for
They're
it.
illegal until they become legal.
Remember, we've done them on New Year's Eve?
Right.
Right.
That's probably the other example. that
Example,
comes
yeah.
up.
No, I think it's a good
Everyone
thing.
else did.
I was
Sure.
just naturally curious why this is this literally separate in the city code, or is it just
They're illegal in New York State.
they're illegal in New York
Yeah.
State, so we have to give them an
They get a
exemption?
permit, yeah.
Right.
That's all.
Okay.
Yeah, but all of them come to you. I can't remember if it's state and local. But they always come to city.
Okay, Jets on RL 19-60.
These are correcting the tax rolls for 3 different properties in the city. This is standard procedure, clerical error on the county's end. We just want to make sure that we're charging what we're supposed to be charging for city residents at these 3 different addresses.
Clerical error? you
I'm
said?
sure it was not the county's fault.
I agree with the counselor.
Questions?
Mr. President.
Yes.
What was the change on 33 Grace?
33.
Like, I see what it's listed at here, but what was the clerical error from?
Are we talking large dollar amounts here?
No, they're minuscule.
3,600.
That's the current.
3,000.
Yeah, look them up on
Um,
GIS.
Because if there was a clerical error and it doesn't work in their favor, have these property owners been contacted? I'm singling out 33 Grace because I
Yeah, that's
represent
right.
that
Yeah.
property, but
From my knowledge, I'm not sure if I can get that information to you. Whether they were contacted about it, if it was an increase, I don't know if they were contacted.
Either way, they should be
about it.
contacted, let them know. what it
Yes,
is.
okay.
Yeah.
They are.
I'm sure they probably were.
They are contacted, okay.
yeah. And Jess, could you also maybe find like the differences? Like, was it an increase, was it a decrease by how much?
Yeah, increase, yep,
And if so, are there going to be clawbacks or?
Yeah. Thank you.
yep.
Other questions? Anybody have anything else?
Mr. President.
Yes.
Just one quick thing.
Please.
The pending legislation that we get, is there a possibility that we could get the list, even just the RL numbers of the pending legislation with the like the work session agenda when we get it on a Friday evening?
Would you like a list?
Yeah,
Of,
just a
like,
list of the RL numbers would be nice.
Okay, so I can do the list of the RL numbers and the titles, the prospective titles.
That would be great. Thanks.
Other comments? I'll take a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Adjourn.